Do you need to submit an unconditional offer to win in a real estate bidding war? I'm gonna answer that, plus go over the two types of sellers and how to find out which one they are, the single factor to consider if you decide to write an unconditional offer, finding a real estate negotiation expert, plus I'm gonna give you guys a good negotiation tip, the strategy tip when submitting an offer, and the reality of being a buyer in today's hot market. Okay, so do you need to submit an unconditional offer to win in a real estate bidding war? The answer is not necessarily. Now, it all really depends on the seller you're dealing with. Let's first talk about conditional versus unconditional offers for buyers. Now, there are some standard conditions on all purchase contracts depending on the type of property you buy, and I'm gonna explain what those conditions are more in detail in just a second. So what are the two different types of sellers in this hot market? Well, I think they really fall under two camps. The first one is the seller that values security, convenience. These are the people that will take an unconditional offer because it's basically a done deal. They don't have to deal with, potential hiccups from buyer financing, no inspection issues, which really means that they save money because the buyer can't come back to them and say, oh, there's something wrong with the house. And then the seller would be forced to either fix it or take money off the purchase price. Now, these sellers also may take a lower price. So as an example, there was a situation that our team went through, and the seller ended up taking a $10,000 less of a price on a $600,000 property. Now, $10,000 by itself is a good chunk of change. However, when you're looking at it compared to a $600,000 asset, $10,000 on $600,000, that's only 1.6%. So it's not a material amount when looking at the big picture. The second type of seller is the seller that values price. Now, they will choose an offer with a higher price, even though it has conditions, because they're willing to take a chance. Now, how do you find out which type of seller that you're dealing with? The truth is, your agent has to ask, okay? Now, let me be very clear. Unconditional offers are typically seen as stronger offers, but I want to reassure you, it's not always the case. So for all the buyers who've been writing offers and they haven't been getting accepted, just know that there is some hope for you, and that eventually you will end up working with a seller who may value a higher price even though it has conditions. Unconditional home offer. Now, what is the single factor to determine whether you should submit an unconditional offer? In my opinion, what it really comes down to is risk tolerance. Okay, so here are the three conditions that are on the purchase contract. The first one is financing condition. Now, I want you to know that even if you have a pre-approval does not guarantee mortgage funds. Why? It's because the bank hasn't looked at your application, your income documents, your credit score, and etc. Only your mortgage broker has, or the representative at the bank. What I would recommend is go and talk to your mortgage broker and discuss the pros and cons, whether or not it's a good idea for you to go conditional or not with a financing condition. Now, the best case is if you go without it, you get approved. Yay. The worst case is you will lose your deposit in case if you fail to get financing. Okay, here is a tip for you to know whether or not you're working with a great mortgage broker. If your bank or mortgage broker is giving you advice on submitting an unconditional or a conditional offer and they have not asked for any of your income documents, I would find a new mortgage broker. And the reason why is because if they do not have their documents to confirm the information on your application, then they're not in a position to advise you on this because they don't even know if you even qualify for the mortgage. Oftentimes, good mortgage brokers will always ask for documents up front with your application so that they can confirm all of the numbers on your application and make sure that they're correct. The second condition is home inspection condition. Now, this is good because home inspectors will be able to detect active leaks not seen by a naked eye, or they might find electrical outlets that might not be working, or even in a recent example, not enough attic insulation on a brand new build. Now, This is more important for detached homes because homeowners are responsible for the entire home, inside and out, versus a high-rise condo where you're just responsible for within the walls of your unit. What I would typically recommend is if you have extra cash, like 10 grand or something like that, where you're willing to use it to cover any deficiencies that you might find, then that could be something that you're looking at. But if you don't have extra cash, then you are taking a higher risk. If you opt out of the home inspection, it's still a good idea for you to know the overall health of your home. So I would recommend doing an inspection after, just so you understand if there's anything you need to fix right away. The third condition is condo doc review. Now, this is when you get all of the condo documents from the condo board, your budget, the financials, the reserve fund study, and the information statement, plus more, to really see what the overall physical and financial health of the building is. What you're really looking for is any special assessments that may be coming up. Now, special assessment is when there has been an unexpected expense that has arisen and there's not enough money in the reserve fund, or it hasn't been allocated in the reserve fund for that specific expense. So they basically do a cash call for all the owners. Finding a real estate negotiation expert. Now, when it comes to real estate negotiations, you have to figure out who is making the decisions and who has the most influence in the transaction. Is it the agent or is it the seller? Once you know, you can focus your time on them. Now, how are you gonna know? Well, you're gonna have to trust your agent to ask the right questions, right? And how you can ask them if they know is by asking your agents, what is your negotiation strategy? How do you typically handle negotiations? Like, what is your process? If they lay out a plan, then you're gonna be in good hands. But if they don't really have an answer for you, then that might be indication that they may not be as experienced or skilled when it comes to negotiations. Now, I want to give you an offer strategy tip, and you may have heard this before, and that is writing a letter to the home sellers. In this letter, you want to talk about your offer. You want to reassure the seller that you are capable of closing on the property, why the home is a good fit for you. Talk about the home, talk about the area, how to find a good realtor for buying in a real estate bidding war. Now, when it comes to your agent, you want to look for knowledge, experience, and skills, right? You need that in order to maximize your chance of winning in a bidding war. Now, the simple thing is to really just ask them, like, hey, what is your step-by-step strategy on the offer process? Now, if your agent is new or they're inexperienced, like, that is totally okay. But you have to ask them, what is their support? Who do they have to lean on for coaching and mentorship to be able to help guide them and you throughout the real estate bidding process? In addition to that, another thing that you want to look for is an agent that has courage. Okay, let me give you an example. Everyone is always wondering, why is the homeowner selling? But the truth is, 12 years as an agent, I've had less than a handful of realtors ask me that when I'm the listing agent. So ask for what you want and see if your agent will ask a bold question. Now, there are other factors to consider when you're writing an offer that does have an impact on the outcome of your negotiations. Number one is it a hot community? If it is, you're probably going to be competing with a lot more people, right? Lower price detached homes in the 500s is really hot, so there's going to be more competition. Is there low inventory in the community, right? If there are all of these things or any one of them, you can expect to be writing 3 to 4 offers before you get one accepted. Well, that was a lot of info, but I've had this question asked a handful of times, and I wanted to give this info for you guys. And the reason why is because as a buyer in this hot market, it is tough. No questions about that. So I wanted to reassure you guys that even if you're writing offers and you're not getting them accepted, number one, that's just the market that we're in. So don't give up, okay? Buyer fatigue is a real thing. And it's not just for you guys as buyers, but also for the agents, right? As an agent, we're helping our clients write 3, 4 offers before they get accepted. So your agent and you, we're all going through the same thing, but there is hope, okay? Just because you put an offer with a condition doesn't necessarily mean that you should not write an offer at all, because you just never know. If you write an offer and submit it, you have a chance of winning. If you don't submit an offer, you have zero chances of winning. Now, hopefully you're getting great advice from your agents, but if not, then at least you can lean into our channel here and get some different perspectives on how to navigate this difficult market and to put yourself in the best position possible when facing real estate bidding wars. Guys, if this was helpful, I would love your support if you took 2 seconds and hit the like button, and feel free to share this so that you can come back to it and review any of the strategies and tips that I talked about. Also, if you want a free home evaluation with me personally, I'm gonna leave a link down below. There's also an ebook on how to increase the value of your home with low cost, high impact improvements. So if you want to grab that ebook, go get it down there. And thanks for watching, guys. My name is Felix Chan, realtor and mortgage broker with the Live Inner City Real Estate team, powered by Real Broker, and we'll see you in the next video.